All right, let's dive into a really fascinating topic today. How in the world do you give an AI avatar that spark of life, that soul? We're going to break down exactly how to add that all-important human touch. You know the feeling, right? You're watching a video and the person on screen just feels creepy. They look almost human, but something is seriously wrong. Well, that feeling, it has a name, and it's pretty much the biggest hurdle for anyone working with AI avatars.
Yeah, we've all seen them. The avatars that are perfectly symmetrical, kind of stiff and robotic, with that blank stare that just gives you the chills. What we're aiming for is the complete opposite, something with warmth, real expression, and those little imperfections that, actually make it feel human.
And that's our mission for the next few minutes. We're going to walk through both the psychology and the practical step-by-step process to take your digital characters from eerie to genuinely engaging.
So first things first, let's really get to the bottom of the problem. Why do so many AI avatars just make us feel weird? Well, the answer is simpler than you might think. Most of the time, we're aiming for the wrong thing entirely.
These are the classic mistakes, right? That dead-eyed stare, a voice that sounds like an old GPS, movements that are just way too rigid, and maybe the worst one, when the character looks like a totally different person from one scene to the next. These are the little things that just shatter an audience's trust. To fix all this, we need to understand the psychology behind it. We're not just fighting clunky animation, we're actually up against a really deep human instinct. So it's time to talk about something called the uncanny valley.
This is the key idea right here. As a robot or an avatar gets closer and closer to looking human, but doesn't quite nail it, we don't just feel neutral about it. We feel a sudden, massive drop into creepiness and discomfort. Our brain basically hits a panic button. That big dip, that's the uncanny valley, and it's where most AI avatars end up.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. Our brains are literally wired to see perfection as unnatural. We connect with those tiny little asymmetries, those little quirks, because they signal authenticity. A flawless face feels alien. A slightly crooked smile, that feels like a friend.
And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. It's a real trend in the market. A new report from LTX Studio actually confirms it. Audiences now prefer authenticity. People are just tired of that super polished corporate look. They respond way better to natural stuff like freckles, uneven lighting, and asymmetrical smiles. Perfection is out. Relatability is totally in.
Okay, so we get it. Imperfection is good. But how do we actually do that? How do we purposefully engineer that human touch to build a real connection? It really all comes down to three key things.
These are the three pillars. It's that simple. First, you have to literally build imperfection into the design. Second, you bring it to life with all those tiny subconscious movements. And third, you have to give it a voice that sounds like a person, not a machine reading a script.
So let's get practical. When you're prompting your AI, you need to be specific about the so-called flaws. Ask for things like subtle facial asymmetry or visible skin pores, maybe uneven natural lighting from a window. It's those exact details that fool our brains into seeing the image as real. A static image is one thing, but for video, the real magic is in the tiny movements. We're talking about stuff you barely even notice consciously. The subtle way the chest rises and falls when the avatar breathes, a natural blinking pattern, or little head tilts that match what they're saying. These micro-expressions are what make it feel alive. And finally, the voice. You can have the most beautiful avatar in the world, but if it speaks like a robot, the illusion is shattered. As an analysis from Idamu pointed out, a human-sounding voice isn't just about the tone, it's about the rhythm. You need to script in natural pauses, filler words like and even the sound of someone taking a breath. All the stuff we do when we actually talk.
Okay, so we have the keys to making an avatar feel human. Now let's talk about style, because you don't just want it to feel real, you want it to feel right for your brand.
The style you choose sends a powerful message instantly. A photorealistic avatar that can scream authority and trust for a tech company. But a softer, watercolor style might feel way more warm and approachable for an artistic brand. It's all about matching the look to the feeling you want to create. But here's the catch. No matter which style you pick, you're going to run into the single biggest technical challenge of them all: consistency. I mean, what good is an avatar if they look like a different person in every single shot? Nailing this is the holy grail. Let's look at an example to see what I mean. Here's our avatar. Let's call her Chloe in a professional headshot. Take a good look at her facial structure, the shape of her eyes, that specific smile. Got it? Okay.
Now, here she is in a totally different spot, a cafe. The lighting's different, her clothes are different, but it's unmistakably the same person. Her core identity is totally locked in. That's what we're talking about.
And one more time on a video call. Different angle, slightly different expression, but the consistency is still perfect. This right here is the gold standard that makes an AI avatar actually work in the real world. So where is all this tech going? As we get better and better at engineering these digital humans, we're really moving beyond just using them as spokespeople and into a whole new world of interaction. I mean, the pace of change has been insane. A few years ago, it was all about simple 2D illustrations. Then 2024 hit, and we had this explosion of gorgeous but static AI images. And now, the new standard is a fully interactive video avatar that can talk and emote. And the next frontier sounds like something straight out of sci-fi: real-time empathy. A recent report from Creatify AI is already talking about avatars that can analyze your tone of voice and then respond with the right facial expression. Just imagine a customer service bot that can look genuinely concerned when it hears you're frustrated. Which, of course, brings us to the final and maybe most important question of all. As this line between human and AI gets blurrier and blurrier, and as these digital people become more empathetic, how do we make sure we're always transparent about who or what we're talking to? That's the huge ethical challenge we all have to figure out as we head into this new future.